is up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching, and today we are talking about the Green Bay Packers draft class. This is their draft review video, and guys, I'm not going to bury the lead. This is not going to be a super kind review of the Green Bay Packers. It's just not going to be that way, guys. I am not a fan of what the Packers did. This is an F for me, and usually I say that at the very end of the show, but I just want to preface that and say I'm going to try and give some positives. I'm going to try and show you guys what the thought process was, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I agree with it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the decisions they made were the right decisions. But that is what it is. Let's get into the actual draft class, and we'll start with some of the guidelines that I have coming into every draft. So first of all, what was the plan? Did they come into the draft with a plan? And here, yes, I think they did, although I don't understand it. Their plan was to become a running football team. And I almost said fuck over Aaron Rodgers. That was almost the plan for this team. I'm not going to say that because I really believe that LaFleur and company is just trying to turn this offense into a run-first offense. Doesn't make any sense to me. You have Aaron Rodgers, somebody who I've said countless times is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen play football, and that's always been true up until the past 2 years when Patrick Mahomes started slinging the rock. Other than that, man, I mean, Aaron Rodgers just has unreal talent, and the fact that they just never put any talent around him is just so sad to me. But with that being said, we'll move on and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. Did they add an offensive lineman in the first 4 rounds? They did not. Again, very surprising. They moved on from their starting left tackle, who moved over to the Chargers in LA. They went from Green Bay to LA, which has to be a great move. With Bulaga going to LA, that left a hole for the Packers that they have not filled, and they did not fill in this draft, in my opinion. Very surprising decision. And then the last thing was, did they get a piece of the strength of the class, which in this case was wide receiver? And again, this was a position of need for the Packers, and they did not do that. They did not add one wide receiver in this draft. So incredibly surprising from all accounts. But with all that being said, let's talk about their first pick. In the first round, they trade up to 26 overall with the Dolphins, sending a 4th round pick along with their number 30 overall pick to land Jordan Love, quarterback out of Utah State. And guys, I'm going to say this, first of all, if you watch my channel, if you know the type of analysis that I give, I'm a huge fan of Jordan Love. I fell in love with the potential. I fell in love with the arm and the player, and I kind of ignored some of the negatives that come along with the player as far as his decision making and his inaccuracy at times. I ignored all that because I do think there is a lot of talent with the quarterback. To me, getting a guy like Jordan Love instead of one of the top receivers in this class is just so surprising, and the fact that they traded up to do it just is perplexing to me, to say the least. Yes, I get the fact that Aaron Rodgers was actually a year older than Brett Favre was when the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers, and there's so much history there, and that's a very well-told story of the hate between those two people. Brett Favre had no interest in helping Aaron Rodgers anyway, but at the end of the day, playing behind a future Hall of Famer is going to help you no matter what, and hopefully Jordan Love can take the same kind of lessons from that. Jordan Love's probably not going to get babysat at any point in the Green Bay Packers locker room or by Aaron Rodgers in any way, but you're playing behind a future Hall of Famer, so hopefully he will learn a lot. I think this is a great spot for Jordan Love. I don't understand it for the Packers team that was playing in the NFC Championship last year. Yes, they got their ass whooped, and no, they probably didn't deserve to be there. They were not one of the top 4 best teams in the NFL last year, but they were there, and the fact that they're not making moves to get better, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, and especially in the NFL. So it just makes no sense to me from that standpoint, but whatever, we'll move on from that. That is a very well documented draft pick. To me, the more surprising pick in this draft was their 2nd round pick. At number 62 overall, they take AJ Dillon, running back out of Boston College. And again, this is the guy I was really high on. I really like Boston College running back AJ Dillon. He's a great player. He's a sledgehammer who has the speed. I mean, he can be a complete running back, but taking him over a wide receiver in this spot when they could have They could have moved up 5 spots to go land Denzel Mims, who was falling in the down the board. They could have reached on an Antonio Gibson, a Lynn Bowden, a Brian Edwards, a Devin Duvernay, all guys that I valued pretty highly in this wide receiver class. Yes, we're talking about guys that were that belong at the bottom of the second round, and most of those guys that I mentioned fell into the third round. But still, you could have gotten a starter alongside Devontae Adams, and you didn't. You instead take a running back when you already have Aaron Jones. It just makes no sense to me. I don't blame you for taking a running back. I believe teams should take a running back every couple years, no matter what. One of my guidelines that isn't on this video, but it's something I do believe, it's just farther down the line. Take a running back every couple years, never in round 1, rarely in round 2, but take a running back at some point, because the value is always there, especially in the later rounds. And I don't hate taking a running back here. But choosing running back over a wide receiver that probably could have helped your team a lot more right away, incredibly surprising to me. And now, again, I do want to reinforce the fact I really like A.J. Dillon as a player. I think he's going to a really good fit. I think the Packers are going to be a really, really good running team. I just don't understand why you would rather be a running team than a passing team when you have one of the best throwers of the football of all time. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So that just is what it is. We'll move on with in round 3, pick number 94, another very perplexing pick to me, Joshua DeGaara. I'm sorry if I'm saying that name wrong. Tight end out of Cincinnati. This is a very, very raw player. This is a guy that I did have to go back and watch and kind of figure out what type of player he is. I think he's very raw as a blocker. He plays with poor leverage, and he's not really a fluid athlete at this point as a pass catcher. He's a raw talent. He could develop into a starter, but he's not ready for a starting role yet. So again, just another pick where I'm very, very surprised at the type of player that they're trying to get. This is a guy who could play H-back maybe right away and play that type of role as just a big, essentially a fullback, that type of player. I could see him doing that right away. I mean, he was very good at that in college at Cincinnati. But man, I mean, he belongs in the NFL. He has the body type for an NFL tight end, and he can absolutely develop. But I watched it on film, and I did not see a third round pick even close, man. This is a guy who should have gone late 5th round at the earliest, in my opinion. Now, again, I had not watched this player coming into the draft, so I came into this looking for a guy who was a third round pick, and I came out of it saying, man, no, this is not a third round pick by any stretch of the imagination for me. I don't see it. Add that to the fact that this was not a very strong tight end class. I just don't understand taking tight end here. Maybe this is your best tight end on the board, but why are you valuing that position higher than, again, wide receiver? Now at 94, you probably are again going to have to reach on a guy who is in that 3rd or 4th tier of wide receiver, because so many guys have gone off the board at this point. But again, that doesn't mean that you couldn't have traded up, you couldn't have made moves. I'm not going to sit here and be apologetic for a team that didn't have a clear and obvious pick at 94. If there's not a clear and obvious pick, that means you should have known there wasn't going to be and traded up to get a guy that you believed in. That's just clear and obvious to me. Like a 94 overall, they could have traded ahead of the Ravens and taken Devin Duvernay. Granted, this is all hindsight, and I'm kind of being a little bit too hard on picks. Like they couldn't have known that the Ravens were going to take Devin Duvernay or something like that. But man, at the end of the day, you see that you only have one wide receiver left on your board. At least I would have at that point, with Devin Duvernay being a clear cut above anybody else that was left to be drafted. Go get him. Go get him. I mean, that's just draft 101, right? If there's one player on your board in a position of need, go get him. Now, granted, they might not be valuing Devin Duvernay the way I did. Maybe they valued this tight end a lot higher than I could conceivably see him being valued. But man, I just don't get it. I know Green Bay did a lot of work on tight ends, and that was well documented coming into the draft. There were conversations about Cole Kmet going to the Green Bay at 30 overall, and that was something that I could have seen. I actually would have really liked there. I would have liked it a whole hell of a lot more than Jordan Love, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, I just do not understand where the thought process was for the Green Bay Packers, especially with tight end here at 94. As far as understanding the pick itself, yeah, I get it. You want to be a running team. I don't understand why you would. I don't understand why you would value running the ball over throwing it with Aaron Rodgers, even if you don't like the guy, even if you think he's a shitty person, which he must be. Like I'm to the point where I've always been a huge Aaron Rodgers apologist, and I still am, very much so. But I mean, the coaching staff and the franchise must hate this dude, because as good as he is on the field, he must be such a jackass off of it, because they've done nothing to help this player. Aaron Rodgers has thrown one touchdown pass to a first round pick in his entire career. That's ridiculous. You're not helping this guy. This is a guy who has just as much talent as anybody we've ever seen at the position. And if you follow the sport, if you follow the Packers especially, you know that the Aaron Rodgers has been bailing you out for years, making unreal throws at unreal times off his back foot while he's getting smashed by three 300-pound men, and throwing it on a dime 25 yards down the field for on 1st and 25. I mean, it's just ridiculous that you would not help this man succeed. You're technically one of the top 4 teams in the NFL last year. You went to the NFC Championship. You're technically, or at least you have to be of that mindset coming into this draft, that you're a couple pieces away from being in the Super Bowl and competing for another Super Bowl, adding to that Aaron Rodgers legacy. And you don't add any players. Not one player that they added in the first 3 rounds is going to help them win a Super Bowl. A.J. Dillon, maybe a little, but you already had Aaron Jones, who was a baller. He was a great running back for the Packers last year. And, you know, maybe you're adding A.J. Dillon to be a depth piece, but you had depth at that position. Maybe you didn't love the depth, but you had it. They played fine. Makes no sense to me, man. And I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent. I'm sorry to all Packers fans. You guys, I mean, there are Packers fans that I know that I'm good friends with that I absolutely love, and I just feel so bad for them, because they're a fan of a team that has done nothing to help them. They're a fan of a team that has done nothing to better themselves. And you know, we talk about how this is such a great fit for Jordan Love. Is it? Because if Jordan Love comes out and is the next Aaron Rodgers, or the next Patrick Mahomes, or lives up to all the potential that I saw, that I actually really believe in, I truly believe that Jordan Love 4 years from now will be a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa. That's my team. My Miami Dolphins drafted Tua. I believe in Jordan Love that much. I love Jordan Love as a player, and I love the upside for him, especially he's going to be playing behind an all-time great at the position. But is he going to get as much help that Aaron Rodgers has gotten? Because if that's the case, it's not much. He's going to have to make it up as he goes along every single game. That's a lot to ask for. And this is a franchise that has been so blessed with incredible talent at the quarterback position. And they have 2 Super Bowls between those 2 insanely talented players. 2? Really? That's shocking to me. That's surprising. There's something wrong there. There just is. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop monologuing a little bit. Let's get through the rest of this video here. As far as my favorite move, I don't have one. If you made me pick, I guess A.J. Dillon. They took a couple linemen in the 6th round. I can't really get excited about that. I guess A.J. Dillon. He's a great player. I love A.J. Dillon, the player. So I guess he'll be an impact player right away. Hopefully. I don't like the pick compared to the other players that they could have gotten, but I guess that's my favorite move. Least favorite move this entire draft. I mean, honestly, I just don't get it. I'm not gonna. And then last thing, surprising, the biggest surprise this entire draft, Jordan Love at 1 was incredibly shocking. So I guess that's my official pick for biggest surprise. But just the way they came into this draft, the decisions that they made, the way they wanted to build their team. I mean, they built their team in a way that they're rebuilding almost. Like they drafted in the same type of way. They drafted the way I would expect a team that won 5 games to draft. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like I said earlier at the beginning of this video, my final grade for this draft is an F. It was horrible. I didn't like it. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate what they did. I think they're laying one of my favorite players in the NFL for a long time out to dry in Aaron Rodgers. I think they're giving him no help. Devontae Adams has been awesome for a long time. 2nd round pick that's really worked out for the Green Bay Packers. They've had nobody else. Nobody. And it's just, you can't do it all by yourself, man. You just can't. So it's just so sad to see wasting that amount of talent. And man, I for so long I blamed McCarthy, and now McCarthy's gone and LaFleur is in, and I didn't love the LaFleur hire. I really didn't, but I at least understood it at the time. And now I'm like, LaFleur's not doing anything to help. He's wanting to build his team the way the Titans build their team. But the Titans have Ryan Tannehill starting at quarterback, who's a fine starter, but you understand being a running football team with Ryan Tannehill as your starting quarterback. You don't understand being a running football team with Aaron Rodgers as your starting quarterback. I just don't get it. But all right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a Packers fan, I am sorry. Please go down in the comments and insult my face. Tell me I'm stupid. Make fun of this channel and how few subscribers I have. Do whatever you want. Make yourself feel better. You deserve it, because I just absolutely shit on your team for the past 15 minutes. I am sorry. Please, everybody else, leave a like and subscribe. Check back for more videos and let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Peace out, guys.